Everybody, my name is Adam.
I'm Roman, and we're here to do UFC 142 Aldo versus Mendes predictions. UFC is coming back to Brazil again, and they have a good card put together. The first fight is Edson Barboza versus Terry Adam. Interesting fight. Barboza's 9-0, 3-0 in the UFC, coming off a good win over Ross Pearson by split decision. And Adam is coming off a good submission win. He had a bumpy road in the UFC. His prior loss was to Dos Anjos, where he snapped a 4-fight win streak there. But Adam is a good submission fighter, which will make this fight very interesting. Could go 3 rounds, but I'm going to pick Barboza by decision. It's going to be close. I see Adam trying to take him down, but Barboza is going to try to keep the fight standing and land some good shots on him.
I pretty much agree. I think it's going to go to decision. Even though Adam has actually only gotten a decision 3 times. Should make for an interesting fight, but I would pick Barboza by decision.
Our next fight is Carlo Prater versus Eric Silva. Another interesting fight. Prater is going to be fighting for the first time in the UFC. Had a previous win over Carlos Condit by triangle in a different organization. He started off his career 10-0 and went through a bumpy slide throughout the career. And Eric Silva is 13-1. He won in his debut in August in Brazil, and this should be a good fight. I see Silva winning this fight by submission, 2nd round. And the good thing about Silva is he's very well trained. Trains with Anderson Silva, the Nogueiras. So I see his jiu-jitsu is going to play a big key in this fight.
Yeah, I have a good feeling about Silva. He seems like he's a young guy. He's obviously very talented. He trains with Team Nogueira. And even though Prater has a lot more fights under his belt, with actually about 40 fights under his belt, I still see Silva winning, probably by a knockout.
Our third fight of the night is going to be Mike Macenzio versus Rosmir Polaris. Macenzio has been on a roller coaster in the UFC, 1-3 in the UFC. Went down to middleweight, beat Steve Cantwell in his last fight by decision. He has a lot to gain in this fight. A win over Polaris will put him on the map in the middleweight division. And this is Polaris' fight right here. He's 6-2 in the UFC. Very good submission artist. Loves going for the heel hook. The questionable part about him is his cardio. How long can he stay in the fight? Can he go 3 rounds, or is he looking to end it in the first round? My opinion, he's going to try to end it in the first round, go for a heel hook, submission, end it there. It's been very questionable about his fights. He doesn't really pay attention to the ref. There's been some misunderstanding in his last fight when he fought Dan Miller. But I think this is his fight to make a statement and put him up on the map. And if he wins, I see him getting a good fight up next, and hopefully get a contendership fight after the next one.
Yeah, I think Polaris is obviously very heavily favored. Macenzio has been on a real bumpy trip to where he is, really. But he seems like he's been working harder lately, and even though Polaris is like a good submission artist, Macenzio is very good at grappling, and he has most of his wins by submission and some of the others by decision. So, with that being said, I think it might end up being a tight fight, or Polaris could run away with it. But should end up be a decent fight. I'll say.
Our co-main event is Vitor Belfort versus Anthony Johnson. This is going to be a very good fight. You have Vitor Belfort, the veteran of the UFC, coming off a big win against Akiyama in the first round, knocked him out. He made a good statement there. He's an interesting fighter. This is going to be a good fight. Vitor is a good striker, lands dangerous shots, could pick off his opponent very easily. Anthony Johnson, on the other hand, could mix it up. He's got good wrestling, he has good striking, he has a good reach, and he made a smart decision going to the middleweight division. That weight cut is very hard for him to make it to welterweight, so this is perfect for him for 185. And he trains with Rashad Evans. His wrestling is very good. He showed us that he has good wrestling. He took out Brenneman, and he beat Dan Hardy and used his wrestling skills there. So I see Anthony Johnson using wrestling, taking Vitor down, and I want to see how Vitor handles the situation on the ground to see if he has any good skills in the submission department. But I see Anthony Johnson grinding this one out. I'm going to go with the upset here. 3-round decision, Anthony Johnson. Very close fight, but I see Johnson winning this fight by using his wrestling and not taking a chance with striking.
Yeah, obviously, Anthony Johnson seems to be very happy at 185. Seems to be feeling very healthy, being able to eat right, and just make a lot easier cut than the way he was struggling at 170. And obviously he's got that youth, he's got his strength against Belfort, but then Belfort's got a lot of experience over him too. And Belfort still has those, he could still pop up a fury of punches every now and then, and he has some strong hands. So with that being said, I mean, I think it can go either way. I think it can end up being a very good fight, with especially with Johnson being so strong, being able to take him down. But Belfort, you know, obviously he has great jiu-jitsu as well. But I think Belfort's gonna maybe pull off a submission in this one.
And our main event is Jose Aldo defending his featherweight title against Chad Mendes. It's gonna be an interesting fight. Mendes comes from Faber's training camp. He's 11-0 in the UFC, and his advantage in this fight is learning from Faber's mistakes. Chad Mendes has a very good wrestling background. In this fight, he should use it, wear down Aldo, because it's been shown that Aldo's cardio could decrease in the late rounds. He should press the fight against the cage, go for takedowns, and work on top of him, and not get this fight up on the feet. For Aldo in this fight, I would use leg kicks, chop him down, wear him down, and then go for the big finish. Aldo successfully defended his title 4 times already, 2 in the WEC against Manny Gambarian, Uriah Faber, and in the UFC, he defeated Mark Hovenick and Kenny Florian. I think Aldo will win this fight in 3rd round, TKO. He's going to use the leg kicks, wear Mendes down, and then go for the big finish, I would say by knees, and then, end it from there.
Yeah, coming from Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber, I think Mendes, definitely he's getting some, I wouldn't say an advantage, obviously, but he's definitely getting some pointers from Faber on how to fight him, seeing as Faber fought Aldo and obviously failed, but he knows him a little bit now. But Aldo, he's training at Team Black House with Anderson Silva and Nogueira brothers. So he obviously has a lot of strengths coming into this. But with Mendes being a strong wrestler, I'm sure he could take Aldo down. He may even be able to do something on the ground, who knows, and surprise everybody. But if I were a betting man, I would definitely take Aldo by either win a strong decision or a knockout.
And that's our picks. We would like to thank you for watching our videos. Feel free to put comments down, and we'll be making our next video. We'll be making Miller versus Gallard and the Rashad Evans and Davis picks on that same video. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.